Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. Geeky Sparkles is sending this video out. We're going to talk about the entertainment industry, and in particular, we're going to talk about animation in Hollywood. It's not looking very good for animation industry workers. It's not looking very good for a lot of people in Hollywood right now. And this article from the Wall Street Journal kind of spells out just how bad things are. Now, I was forwarded this by a friend of mine who works in the animation industry currently. And that friend is telling us that things are so much worse than the media is actually letting on, because they're trying to present a brave face. They want to be like, look, guys, the union's going to save us and everything's great and it's all going to be good. And as time drags on, I think more and more people working in this industry realize that the animation industry is never going to go back to what it was just a couple of years ago, with all these streaming shows being greenlit. And especially now, like, I'm not going to go into it again. I've got feelings on this situation with the Netflix boycott, but so many normies are realizing that a lot of the Netflix content that is for kids probably has content in it that is not kid friendly. A lot of Tumblr fanfics pushing a lot of agendas and ideology. And a lot of these shows were canceled years ago because they did not perform, but they're still on the service. And now there's a call for Netflix to purge that content from the service. And I can almost guarantee you that they're not going to greenlight anymore. Right? There was a surplus of money for years when it came to streaming, and that's where a lot of these shows came from. These animated series that were, Tumblr fanfics, multi-million-dollar Tumblr fanfics, and they've already been ghosted by the rights holders. I was talking about it today, and you think about it with Netflix She-Ra and Strawberry Shortcake and all these other ill-conceived reboots. Nobody's talking about the new incarnation. They're all going back to the OG series. She-Ra, the Netflix version is basically toast at this point. Like, nobody talks about it. I don't know if it's because it's a DreamWorks thing or what, but Mattel, they're bringing out lots of She-Ra stuff, but it's classic She-Ra stuff. They just released a new She-Ra and Swiftwind figure, and all the She-Ra merchandise now is the original She-Ra. Same with Strawberry Shortcake. There was a clip that was going around, which I didn't even catch that one because I'm not the target audience for Strawberry Shortcake and my daughter's too old for it. But the new version of Strawberry Shortcake, or newer version, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, had a transberry character or something in it, but nobody's talking about that. They're all going back to the OG Strawberry Shortcake. If you go 5 Below, there's tons of 1980s Strawberry Shortcake. So that's definitely going to put a dent in things, I think, in the animation scene. And, we've had a lot of big budget disasters, movies that did not perform very well. Even Pixar movies like Elio didn't perform very well. So we're going to talk about where we're at right now with LA's entertainment economy and the animation industry in particular, because that's what they lead with in this article. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, guys. And also, we've got a sponsor for this video, so we're going to let you take a look at Perplexity AI's new browser, Comet, and then we'll get back into this video. Let me ask you something. How much time do you spend every day on a web browser? How much time do you spend clicking around online, searching, scrolling, typing, endless tabs? It's a lot of work, right? Well, there's a new AI-based web browser from Perplexity called Comet that is completely changing the way you're able to interact with your browser. Using Comet feels like having a personal assistant living in your web browser that can actually do things for you across the internet. Yes, do things, not just give you answers. You can ask Comet to handle tasks for you, and it literally clicks, types, searches, and scrolls just like you would to get things done for you in the background while you go about your day. Comet can shop for you, make reservations, book travel, summarize articles or videos, send emails, schedule meetings, and lots more to make your life easier. Let me show you how it works. Okay, so this is the first time I've used Comet. It was very nice. Reminds me of Orion Pictures. Remember that? That was pretty cool. Welcome to Comet. Get started. So I can import my data from Chrome. I guess I'm going to be Neon. Some people think I'm a Uranus. All right, we go dark. Of course I'm going to go dark. All right. Okay, so this is the Comet Assistant. You can do email, you do calendars, browsers. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Identify today's 3 hottest news stories. Here are 5 things to know for October 2nd. Mass layoffs, crime crackdown, Walmart, climate change, and Jane Goodall. Okay, so there we go. So look, if you look up here, there's an assistant side panel. Okay, let's look at this. Oh, wow. Okay, this is really cool. Okay, this is very, very cool. So you can go to the assistant. This is a news article. Explain the significance. Here are the significance of the 5 main news points highlighted for October 2nd. Mass layoffs. The ongoing U.S. government shutdown is prompting the Trump administration to threaten mass layoffs of federal workers. Okay. Crime crackdown. The deployment of federal officers, National Guard troops in Memphis demonstrates federal push for strict crime enforcement in certain cities. Okay, so you can just go out to this, which is Perplexity AI's homepage. So this is very cool. It's built right in. The AI is built right into the browser. We can do deep research on any topic. Okay, let's look up us. Now, it says it's going to take 2 minutes to gather all the sources, so maybe we'll go do something else and then come back to this. Okay, so here's another AI tool. Summarize the current web page. This would be the Clownfish TV news page, news.clownfishtv.com. Let's summarize it. Clownfish TV Podcast and News is an independent entertainment news site hosted on Substack. It features recent news and podcasts covering topics like generational money anxiety, controversies in fandom, Star Wars and Doctor Who, changes in media and social media platforms, and trends in pop culture. The site emphasizes an opinionated but apolitical stance on video games, tech, comics, movies, anime, and entertainment news. So we can check and see where it's at with the other task we gave it, which is to tell us about Clownfish TV. So husband-wife team, channel overview and growth. As of 2024, Clownfish TV's main YouTube channel has 630,000 subscribers. Hey, there's always room for more. The channel launched in 2016, has maintained consistent daily uploads, producing over 7,200 videos. Let's zoom in on that. 7,200 videos. But yeah, this is pretty accurate. Oh, here we go. Controversies and criticisms, guys. Guess where the controversies are coming from? It's coming from Reddit. We'll just pick an article here. Here we go. Bad Bunny. The Trump administration is falling into the Bad Bunny trap. Let's look at our assistant. Let's summarize the current page. Article discusses the growing conflict between Trump and Bad Bunny, who's set to perform at the Super Bowl. Bunny has openly criticized Trump's immigration and deportation policies. Bunny's latest album, Tour Decisions, social media posts highlight his opposition to Trump's handling of issues like Puerto Rico. So this has a voice mode too. Let's do voice mode. Can you take me to the Crunchyroll website? Oh, hey, look at that. Cool. Awesome. So there's Crunchyroll. So yeah, you can actually talk to the assistant and it will answer questions for you directly, kind of like Google does, right? Or you can even tell it to take you somewhere. So if you go out to Perplexity, you actually can tell it where to look for things. This is really interesting. You can do web searches. You can do academic searches, so it can search papers, social media opinions, finance, SEC filings. So it will make finding information a hell of a lot faster. That's awesome. So here are spaces. This is interesting. Trip Planner Pro, interview role play coach, practice interviews through role play, brainstorm buddy, writing coach, big beautiful bill explorer, money manager, intro email generator, English to German translator, personal growth coach, crypto coin explorer. Man, there's a lot of stuff here. This is like, let's go to brainstorm buddy. Explore and expand your ideas with creative AI that generates fresh angles, bold directions, and thoughtful variations. All right, so let's do eco, disaster, satire as a musical with Nicolas Cage. All right, core concept title, Cage Against the Green Machine. Nicolas Cage stars as a washed-up former action hero turned climate crusader, accidentally thrust to fame when a viral video catches him stopping an absurdly obvious eco-catastrophe. There we go, guys. Oh, it said that we should get Phil Lord and Chris Miller to work on. Maybe Taika Waititi. I'll get right on that. It's pretty cool, right? So you can download Perplexity's new AI web browser, Comet, by heading to this URL, pplx.ai. That's pplx.ai/clownfish and let your browser work for you. Plus, right now, when you download Comet, you will get a month of Rumble Premium for free. For free. That's pplx.ai/clownfish. Go now and take back your time online. Let's get back into the video. All right, guys, let's talk about it. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal. LA's entertainment economy is looking like a disaster movie. Work is evaporating. Businesses are closing. Longtime residents are leaving. And the city's creative middle class is hanging on by a thread. And look, I want to be very, very clear. And I feel like I have to make myself clear every time we do one of these videos. I'm not happy about normal, everyday people losing their jobs. I'm not. But the reason that everyday normal people are losing their jobs in Hollywood is because the people in Hollywood have made very, very poor decisions that led us to this place right now. And I think the entertainment industry needs to be decentralized. I think they need to get out of LA. This is why I think so many studios are looking at moving to like Nevada, Florida, Texas. LA is too expensive. And there are other reasons why things are failing. So they're talking about Brian, is it Mainolfi? I don't know him. He's been drawing since he came to the city in '94. The Baltimore native started as an assistant to Chuck Jones. Wow. Worked on Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Mulan and spent a decade on the animated sitcom American Dad. The appeal of the work is simple. People love cartoons, he said, and I love making cartoons. That's awesome. His last show was canceled in 2024. Mainolfi's artistic output has been limited to dinosaurs and monsters in his sketchbook. Like thousands of people who work in the entertainment industry, he has become collateral damage of a precipitous slowdown in production. The only work he's found is teaching an animation class at Cal State campus 3 hours away for $350 a week. Damn. That's not good. That's not good. And living in LA, his family of four never lived extravagantly on a salary of around $100,000. Yeah, people don't understand. Like I spent a good portion of my my teens and young adult years in California. It's expensive. If you don't live there, you don't know. Like even in the 90s, $100,000 didn't go very far. We lived in the Bay Area, and it was like, yeah, it didn't go very far back then. I mean, any place else, you'd be set, man. You'd be fine. But California is really expensive. So now they're using retirement and college savings and scrimping to survive in their 3-bedroom ranch house in Burbank, with his union healthcare set to disappear at the end of the year for lack of work. Yes, people don't realize you got to work if you want to keep your health insurance, right? And most members of these unions are not working. I think we did a story a while ago. It was a Disney Channel star, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she said that only 2% of SAG-AFTRA union members are actively working, or at least working enough to be considered full-time actors. That's how bad things are. And that's with acting. Animation, things are so much worse. There's a huge appetite for animation, but guess where they're going to get it from? They're going to get it from Japan. When Demon Slayer is making the kinds of money it's making, they're going to go to Japan and they're going to import that anime. They're not going to make any more of these Tumblr cartoons, especially not now since there's been all this controversy lately. So this sucks. He's 54 years old. He's trying to figure out for the first time in his life what he could do to make money besides draw. Oh my God, guys. It's almost like everything we've been telling you. This is so aggravating. We have been trying to tell you, and we're getting a really bad rap. People in the, I would say not people in the animation industry, but people that are wannabes, hangers-on, animation industry adjacent, cartoon stans who fantasize about working for Cartoon Network or Disney, but they don't actually have what it takes to work for these companies. They attack us on Reddit. They say that we are delighting in people losing their jobs. That's not true. It can be further from the truth. They think that, we don't know what we're talking about, even though we talk to people in the animation industry all the time. And they want to spin this narrative that things are fine. And all we've told people the whole time we've been talking about this is please have a backup career. Please have a backup career. because things are not good right now and they're not going to get better. If you go out to Reddit just in the last month, if you go to the animation career subreddit and you type in unemployed, you've got threads like this. I don't know what to do anymore. Are there any jobs in the industry for non-creative people, to people who didn't give up yet on animation as a career? Successful exit collection by Salty Animator. Is getting a career without moving to California possible? All doom and gloom. How bad is the industry? You know, it's not good, guys. This guy's been doing it for decades. And we're hearing stories like this, and we talk to people that have been in the industry for decades. One of the biggest kick in the balls for me personally was Maxwell Adams, who was the creator of Billy and Mandy, and I have a hell of a lot of respect for him and his work. And he actually put one of our videos, put a link to our video on Threads, and a bunch of salty-ass activist stands dogpiled him and said we were like right-wing grifters and you don't listen to Clownfish TV. They don't know what they're talking about. And he actually said, yeah, they actually know what they're talking about. Then like a week later, Gendy Tarkovsky said basically the same thing we were saying, that like, it's not good right now. He's shopping his stuff around. You know what I'm saying? This is the Samurai Jack guy. This is the guy who is a living legend in the animation industry. And he is shopping his stuff around right now because he's not able to get an instant yes because of the state of the industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I feel bad. I don't want anybody to have to go through this, but when we're telling you this is where things are at right now, you know, we're not just talking out of our ass because we're bitter. You're bitter ex-Disney employees. It's like, no, bitch. I personally walked away from the comic book industry. We had pitched some stuff to Disney about 10 years ago. And I walked away from doing Disney Comics. We did Disney Comics for years. I walked away because the money wasn't there. I went into web development. I started other things, right? Because the money is not there, guys. It's just not right now. And you're going to have to do things maybe that are outside your comfort zone until you find something else. I mean, your primary focus, especially for a guy like this that has a family, is you take care of your family. You have to take care of your family. You have to take care of yourself. You have to pay your bills. And just bitching about, you know, Clownfish TV being liars on Reddit isn't going to help you. I'm sorry. You know, it's just the way things are. God, it's so aggravating. It really is, because it's like you're not helping yourself at all, right? I feel really bad for this guy. I really do. By the end of the year, if I don't have something, I'm going to have to apply to a big box store or grocery store or something. You know, I'd hire these people if I could. I would. It's just the economy is just not, it's just not there for this kind of stuff. And like I said, especially now that everybody's dogpiling on Netflix, you know, whatever shows they were going to greenlight, they might be like, you know what, let's just import this stuff from Japan or Korea and not have to deal with the backlash. Yeah, because we don't know, you know, we don't know if we want to get involved in that. LA is full of transplants who moved here to pursue dreams of working in movies and TV. Few earned millions as stars or A-list directors. They build the sets, operate the cameras, manage the schedules, make sure everything looks and sounds perfect. Yeah, everybody talks about the actors. Everybody talks about the writers. Everybody talks about the directors. They don't talk about the below-the-line workers who are the ones who suffer for all the bullshit that's been going on in Hollywood. And I know there are a lot of very angry below-the-line workers when everybody decided to go on strike and they shut down production for months. And you know what? Things never went back to normal. A handful of people got paid more, but things never went back to normal. And we said that was going to happen. Like, you can't, you know, it's just like COVID. You can't just like shut it down and turn the world back on. Hollywood was the same way. You can't just like shut it down, flip a switch and turn everything back on. They said the work isn't steady because film shoots end and TV shows get canceled, but established professionals had rarely gone more than a few months between gigs until now. Yes, what is happening now is very abnormal for Hollywood. The entertainment industry is in a downward spiral. Oh my God, guys. The entertainment industry is in a downward spiral that began when the dual strikes by actors and writers ended in 2023. We said repeatedly, this is what is going to happen. And we had people attacking us for saying that. We were being negative. We wanted Hollywood to burn. We had one dumb motherfucker who put a video out there who said that we were actually hoping that the striking actors and writers would get physically assaulted, which is not true. all I did was make a joke about Hail Caesar. And I'm like, well, it could be worse. You know, it could be like Josh Brolin's character in Hail Caesar where he slaps, you know, George Clooney around. It was a joke, obviously. And here we are. Here we are, guys. Everything that we said was going to happen is happening. And again, I'm not happy about it. I would like to be wrong. I'd like people to be able to feed their families. But we said, you shut things down, it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. And I think we literally had a video talking about the strikes. We said things are not going to go the way you think they're going to go. And a lot of you got talked into it by dumbasses like Adam Conover. You know, it's like a lot of you got talked into it thinking it was going to be better for you, and it wasn't. It was not going to be better for you. It's going to be better for a handful of people at the top, but everybody else, yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I said, work's evaporating, businesses are closing, longtime residents are leaving, and the heart of LA's creative middle class is hanging on by a thread. This is the first year since 1989. Since 1989, I haven't had a show to work on, says Pixie Westpierre, a 62-year-old production manager and producer who has worked on 36 TV series, including the original Night Court. And its recent revival, I look around and I see so many people who are seriously suffering. Was it worth it? I mean, was it? I understand what they were trying to do, but it backfired tremendously. And now we're looking at a reality where a lot of this stuff is going to be outsourced. A lot of it's going to be done with AI. And, you know, you basically force the studio's hand. They're going to be like, you know what? We are never going to be down again. We're never going to be down like that again. And if we can't depend on these people, then we're going to step over them. At the end of 2024, some 100,000 people were employed in the motion picture industry in LA County. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 2 years earlier, there were 142,000. That's like a third gone. The primary reason is that Hollywood is making less stuff. The film business has yet to rebound from the shutdown of theaters during the pandemic. TV production was booming in the 2010s and early 2020s as companies tried to jumpstart streaming services. But in 2022, investors saw streaming growth was slowing and decided what actually matters is profitability. Oh my God, guys, if only someone had seen it coming and tried to warn you. I'd fucking give up. Entertainment companies which plan productions many months in advance cut spending dramatically when the strikes ended the following year. Yes, y'all went on strike because you were lied to and you were told that if y'all went on strike, you're all going to be making a lot more money. No, what happens is if y'all cost more money, they're going to make fewer shows. And if you're all difficult, the studios are going to step over you and they're going to get their entertainment from someplace else. If they have to generate it with a machine, they will. Nearly 30% fewer movies and TV shows with budgets of at least $40 million began shooting this year in the U.S. in 2024 than in 2022. The first 3 quarters of this year was down another 13%. The situation is particularly dire in Los Angeles because of the region's high costs and state production tax credit that until recently lagged behind what competitors like Georgia and British Columbia were offering. Studios make most of their content far from their corporate offices. Last year, there was less production activity in the Los Angeles area than at any time since 1995, save for the pandemic, according to nonprofit group Film LA. Yeah, it used to be kind of a joke, right, that every other show was filmed in LA. Like every show was filmed in LA. Star Trek was filmed in LA, and it was obvious it was just like some desert area they went and, you know. The industry slump has contributed to LA's broader economic challenges. The region's recent unemployment growth has been anemic compared with other major metropolitan areas and the nation overall. Its 5.7% unemployment rate is higher than California's 5.5% and the nation's 4.3%. LA is broke ass, and LA is still struggling to recover from the winter's devastating fires in Altadena and the Palisades. That's a whole thing. Like, what's going on with that? Like, I'm hearing they're like embezzling the money and stuff. Like, what is going on with that? Hollywood has endured downturns before, but rarely this sudden and severe. Some industry analysts believe consumers might be pivoting permanently from professionally made content to YouTube and social media. I swear to God, whoever wrote this article listens to us. I mean, I'm just good. It's so irritating. But now everybody's gonna be like, well, it's true because it was in the Wall Street Journal when people, us included, other people included, have been pointing this out for 2 years. Things are not good, right? They're not good, and they're not going to go back to normal. This is the new normal. The new normal is these tech companies are going to run the entertainment industry, and fewer humans are going to be needed. And that's the truth. Now, it doesn't mean you can't work in the entertainment industry. It just means that you're going to have to make sure you're one of the, 1%ers, because they're the ones who are going to still have jobs. They'll be bot farmers or something. But instead of 100 people on the production, you're only going to need, 5 or 10 people on production. So you better be damn good at what you do, and also be willing to learn to use new tools, because that will save your ass for a while, right? I think you'll buy yourself some time if you are open to the idea of possibly working with AI, or open to the idea of outsourcing, because if you're not, they'll find somebody else who is. And that's the truth. These corporations, these studios, they answer to the shareholders, right? They don't give a shit. They don't care. If you're getting in the way of the profit, they don't care. I'm just saying, that's how this works. It said thousands of dreams built around working in the movie and TV business are evaporating. Again, go out to Reddit, go to the animation career subreddit. It is depressing as hell. I've been keeping an eye on this for the last year or two now, especially when we had people being like, Clownfish TV doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Everything's fine in animation. Everything's fine. It's like, no, sir, ma'am, they, them. It's not fine. It really is not fine. We have people coming to us all the time telling us how not fine it is. And like I said, even the person that sent us this, who works in the animation industry, is telling us that this is nothing. This is like 10% of how bad it actually is. Because these trades, they don't want to just rip the Band-Aid off and tell people the truth. The truth is the entertainment industry is collapsing. The entertainment industry that we've known is collapsing. And like 90% of you will not be working in the industry in 5 to 10 years. They don't want to tell people that. But oh my God, the poor actors might be replaced with the AI. That is the tip of the iceberg. So many people, you never hear about these people, right? That's what's so depressing about this. You never hear about these people. You never hear about the below the line workers. All you hear about are the actors. Oh, look, this celebrity's out there with a picket sign. Oh, this writer who got a $500 million deal from Warner Brothers, wants more writers in the writer's room and more representation or whatever. Meanwhile, there are people out there that are fucking starving. They're on the verge of losing their houses. And nobody seems to care about them. That's what's so irritating about this. Because, I mean, Hollywood, for the most part, is mostly a bunch of blue-collar workers propping up a bunch of A-listers, a bunch of, multimillionaires. But it takes a lot of blue-collar workers to make those people look really good, right? And these are the people that are suffering. Thomas Curley, this is another section. Thomas Curley won Oscar recording the sound on 2014's Whiplash and had more, Oscar winner, had more job offers they knew what to do with as recently as 2022. The 49-year-old hasn't worked since April of last year, save for 1 week on a movie that was made in Europe, but needed to shoot exteriors in San Francisco. The hardest part isn't watching his savings wither while he does some home improvement projects or hunts for jobs. It's missing the creative camaraderie he enjoyed for most of his adult life on movie and TV sets. Yeah, if that was your life, right? If it was more than a job to you and it's just gone. So feeling like you're part of a team that's making something that can provide joy for millions of people around the world is what drew me here in the first place. That level of purpose is really a hard thing to let go of. And I think that's why a lot of people get so angry when we talk about this stuff. And we're telling them that, like, look, everybody has a time in a season, in their lives for different phases of their lives, right? And when you tell people that, like, that part of your life might be over, I think there's just this tremendous sense of loss, and they can't process that. Because for a lot of these people, this is all they want to do, especially like in animation or something like that. Like, this is all they wanted to do their whole life. I just want to draw cartoons. I get it. I mean, when I was a kid, that was me too. I just wanted to draw cartoons. Maybe someday I'll work for Disney. I kind of did, roundabout way. Wasn't what I thought it was cracked up to be, but notch in the belt, right? But there is, I think, a tremendous sense of loss. It's not like, well, I worked at the pickle factory and then it shut down, and then I went to go work at the potato chip factory. This is what I wanted to do with my life, my career, and it's gone, right? It's just gone. But that's what I'm saying. Like, yourself and your family, that has to be more important to you than your job, because jobs come and go. And these people, you got to look after yourself. You got to look after yourselves, right? Entertainment industry workers got through last year with a mantra, survive till 25. And we told you it was going to get worse. Jobs are even more scarce this year. LA and New York based members of the health and pension fund that covers most behind the scenes craftspeople worked 18% fewer hours through mid-August than in the year earlier period. It felt like the floor fell out. Television writer Matt Walsh, not that Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh said the evaporation of job prospects. After moving to LA from Orange County, he spent a decade hustling as an assistant on sets and in the writer's rooms before finally getting his first scriptwriting assignment in 2023 on the TBS series Miracle Workers. Since the strike ended, the 34-year-old hasn't been able to find work as a writer. He's back to working as a production assistant, the first job he ever had in entertainment. Hollywood's downturn has rippled through the region's economy. Fewer productions mean fewer orders for props, costumes, and catering from local businesses, and less spending by unemployed or anxious workers on everything. Yeah, it's not just the actors. It's not just the writers. It's the entire economy in LA revolves heavily around entertainment, right? So, yeah, these people don't have jobs. They're not spending money. I mean, even little things like, the donut shop down the street, they're not getting the donut orders they used to get because nobody's working. Craft services not working, hairdressers not working, makeup people not working because there's nothing to work on. It's sad. It really is sad. It is. So let's see. Courtney Cowan's Milk Jar Cookie Shop made deliveries to movie sets and agents' offices, but most of its business was regular people. She was expecting 2023 to be a banner year with the opening of her second location in a franchise program. Instead, the strikes began and sales immediately dropped 30%. Cowan stopped drawing a salary, laid off some workers, and tapped personal savings to keep paying the rest. She was thrilled when the strikes ended in November, but it turned out to be the worst holiday season in her business's 10-year history. Milk Jar got only one order from an entertainment company compared with dozens in prior years. You got what you wanted, but you lost everything else. It was the dumbest. Like, seriously, if I were an actor or writer, I'd be going after the union and being like, look what you talked us into. Like, we lost everything because y'all got greedy and you talked us into it, and now we got nothing. I'm just saying. You wonder why, why is Kneon so anti-union? Because of shit like this. I've seen it happen before. I've seen it happen at other companies. Now, I'm not saying, don't go on strike if the working conditions are truly piss poor. What I saw with the Hollywood strikes was Hollywood people looking at, above the line Hollywood workers looking at Netflix and Disney Plus and all these companies making all kinds of money, and they wanted a bigger piece of the pie. And because they wanted a bigger piece of the pie, everybody else is eating crumbs if they're lucky. I mean, that's not looking out for your members, right? And I've seen this before with unions. They look out for certain people, right? The people that are left might get paid more, but the rest of you were just useful. You were useful to hold a picket sign. But I could have told you this was going to happen. I did tell you this was going to happen. I saw it happen in one company. It wasn't entertainment. It was entertainment adjacent. We published a lot of magazines and newspapers and stuff. TV Guide, I think they did that there for a while. But the pressmen wanted more money. They wanted to unionize, and it got so bad and so heated. And it wasn't that they weren't paid. They were actually the highest paid pressman in the freaking state. They were making more money than I was, and I was like a managing editor. These guys were making a ridiculous amount of money. And they wanted more money. And the owner actually sold the company, and they shut down a lot of the production just to not have to deal with the unions. because he's like, I can't afford to pay all these people what they want. There's got to be any profit. We're not going to be able to pay our taxes. We're not going to be able to, it's like, no, I'm not even dealing with it. And that's what he did. They shut their doors in January of 2024, and Cowan declared personal bankruptcy after 11 months of unemployment. She found work as a buyer at the culinary supply shop where Milk Jar used to buy equipment. It's not dramatic to say the result has been personal financial ruin, she said while wiping away tears on a sunny LA morning. Now I talk about federal assistance. I'm like, good luck with that. They're trying to get some federal assistance, but yeah, I don't know. I think that if they get federal assistance to film in America, I think it's going to go to other states. I don't think it's going to California, especially since Trump's involved now and he's got, John Voight and who is it? Like John Voight and Sylvester Stallone and I can't remember who the other guy was. But yeah, so he's got these people and they're going to film someplace else. But they said, yeah. Trump hasn't taken a stance on tax incentives, but he said in a social media post on Monday, filmmaking has been stolen from the U.S. by other countries, just like stealing candy from a baby. But a lot of these people hate Trump. So you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, I don't understand. It's like you hate Trump, but you want him to give you tax incentives to film here. Georgia, they're all leaving Georgia. Yeah, here we go. Escape from LA. God, everything we were talking about. They're all leaving. A lot of people are leaving LA. I talked to a guy just, a month ago, 2 months ago, who's like, yeah, I just moved to Nevada from LA and I lived in LA for a long time. And now I'm in Nevada because I'm still close to LA, but the cost of living is a lot cheaper here. People still come to LA with dreams of making it in Hollywood. Getting started is easier than ever, it says. Filmmaking tools are cheap and online distribution is free. Elite YouTube creators sometimes employ up to 100 or more production workers in LA. Yeah, I wish. I wish we're not elite enough. Those jobs typically pay less than union work for Netflix or Warner Brothers, and there aren't nearly enough of them to make up for the lost movie and TV production jobs. As a result, some entertainment workers are leaving Los Angeles. The county's population has dropped by nearly 250,000. 250,000 since 2020. How are you supposed to live there? Right? How are you supposed to live there when it's incredibly expensive and there are no jobs? Here's another animator. Animator Rachel Long worked steadily for more than a decade on shows like BoJack Horseman. When her last series ended in 2024, she found herself competing with hundreds of other experienced artists for a handful of available jobs. And with AI starting to make impressive videos, she was losing confidence in the future of her profession. So the 39-year-old retrained to be a phlebotomist, figuring it was the easiest alternate way to make a decent living. She jokes with patients and coworkers. She went from drawing blood to drawing blood, but struggles to stay positive. Now she makes 1/3 of her prior $120,000 salary for work that's less fulfilling. That's all phlebotomists get paid. Seriously? Like, you got to deal with people's bodily fluids and the potential to get like AIDS and stuff, and you're only getting paid like, what, $40,000 a year? God. I hope we can get back to some semblance of how it used to be so I can work with my friends and collaborators doing something creative that others can enjoy. But I have to face the really real fact that it might not happen. And I'm sorry, I really am. We weren't trying to be negative. We weren't trying to, rub it in your faces. We weren't trying to, I know the thumbnails are sensational, but we were hearing it from all over the place. And we were trying to warn you. We're trying to tell you, hey, things are not going to get better. There's a life raft right over there. Maybe you need to get in the life raft. The boat's sinking. Maybe you want to get in the life raft. And people didn't do it. They just got angry at us. And here we are. It's very sad. I don't think Hollywood's ever going to be the same. I don't think it's ever going to be the same again. And that's the truth. And I don't think the animation industry is ever going to be the same. I think animation is going to be disproportionately affected because of AI and outsourcing. But again, to put a positive on this is everything I've been talking about for, my God, probably 2 or 3 years now. The doors are going to be open to people who aren't part of that LA animation cabal to create professional work with tools that were completely unheard of a decade ago. Again, look at Flow. Flow won an Academy Award. It was a $3 million movie made with Blender, and the tools are getting better all the time. We're going to be able to see more like avant-garde, crazy-ass stuff that never would have gotten a green light from a major studio. And it's going to be made on a shoestring budget if you are entrepreneurial enough, if you can do it yourself and you're DIY enough. But if you're just going to whine that things aren't going to go back to the way they used to be, then you've probably already lost, right? But I have hope for people who are like, you know what, I want to create and I'm going to find a way to create, by God. And even if, you know, it's something I got to bankroll myself, I want this thing to exist in the world. I want people to watch this thing. You'll find a way to make it happen, right? And I think that's where we need to go with it. And try to end on a positive. I think right now, even though the studio system is imploding, there is unlimited potential for people to create. And that is a good thing. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.